We did not know what would happen to us. We were there in a new country with no money, with no connections, with nothing, you know? We didn't know just what would happen to us. Nobody knew. The concern about the future was one of the main problems that we had. I have very mixed feelings about the whole thing. We were on the same side as the Allies, you know. We kept telling them, we're with you, we're against the Nazis. Didn't hold any water. They were still afraid of fifth columnists, of spies, and heaven knows what.
These men were young men whose parents helped protect them by helping them leave Nazi Germany and Poland, other European countries that were in danger, violence for Jews and death for Jews, and they were brought and made their way to Britain. Unfortunately, by 1940, Britain was fearful of an attack by Germany, so these young men had been officially labeled enemy aliens. And in 1940, secret agreement between Britain and Australia, between Britain and Canada, meant that these men were rounded up, taken to Liverpool, where they were put on boats. They were lined up. They were not told where they were going. Those that arrived in Canada were met by soldiers with fixed bayonets who expected to see dangerous men, and those soldiers were surprised. They were just young, normal Jewish men.
There were real Nazis interned with us. They happened to be Nazis who were caught by the war in Great Britain. They were there. They were Nazis bragging, and they kept telling us, wait till Hitler wins the war, we'll cut all your throats. They kept telling us, you know.
There were, I think, 9 toilets for 1,000 men when they first came. There was 1 water faucet for 1,000 men.
The camp that we were sent to was guarded by the veterans guard, old soldiers who had retired already. They were the type of men who didn't know which end of a gun actually shoots bullets, you know. They were men well over the hill. And how these people guarded us was a joke. We were not dangerous, so it didn't matter. They gave us prisoner of war clothing. Jackets had a big red circle on the back. That was for prisoners of war. In case they tried to escape, they had a target to shoot at, you know? we thought it was very funny, because we didn't think we would escape from there. Where do we escape to, you know?
In Sherbrooke, we have the diary of a guard that was guarding that internment camp, and he mentions that the prisoners, the refugees, were starting a protest to protest their living conditions. So eventually they improved. They had to work, so they were put to work in the camps. They made some money, even if it was not minimum wage. They had a little bit of money. They were given proper food, proper shelter eventually. They could study also, and they were given assistance also to find sponsors and find people who could help them leave the camps. So most of them actually integrated into businesses or went to school and kept on studying, so they really became citizens. Of course, it's a bit of shameful part of Canada's history. It's not advertised. People view Canada as a refugee country. Like, people can come here, immigrate, find jobs, and they're accepted, welcome. But it was not the case at the time.
In order to go to Canada or to Australia, we had to be prisoners of war, because otherwise the Canadians wouldn't have taken us. They started interning the boys at 16. You know, it was crazy. In this camp, we spent about, if I recall, about 10 months or so over the winter. And after a while, the camp commander realized that we are harmless, you know, that we are not dangerous at all. He told us that when he came to the railway station and received this whole group, and he saw those schoolboys, 16 years old, come off the train, he said he was so moved by this that he turned around and cried. He said it was, he didn't expect something like that.